Welcome to the Strategy Mob Podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Strategy Mob. Today, I have two very special guests. I have Mr. Everold Reid and Mr. Quincy Reid, and yes, they're related. They are a father-son duo, and both of them will argue about who's the better salesperson on today's show. But before we get into that fun argument, what we'll do is we'll start off with a couple origin stories. Everold, how in the world did you get started in this industry we call the automotive industry?
By fluke, by mistake, because I was looking for a part-time job back in '89. If you can count that far back, and wandered from Centennial College doing studying aircraft engineering to into a showroom at Dixie Toyota. And I always said they made the mistake of hiring me. I think I wasn't quite 19. I turned 19 the month after. So the rest is history.
And then what did you do after that? You've had a long history in this business since 1989.
Well, what I did immediately after that, I screwed up a lot. So for the first year, made very little money, and then I got smart the next year and tried to figure things out and found a mentor, and then wandered into Aaron Park Toyota, and that was just the year before Lexus was coming to North America. So I got to witness the birth of Lexus as a company in North America, and a gentleman there who formed one of the former owners, Paul Pearson. He just recently passed away. He gave me a shot into management at age 23, if you can believe that. So the rest is history, as they say.
See, look, I actually have to do that again because my mic wasn't on. Look at that.
That's all right.
All right, Quincy, for yourself, how did you get started in the automotive industry?
So it's actually kind of funny because I've asked my dad a few times before I actually got started, like how he liked it, and like if it would be something he would recommend. Right off the bat, he said, "No, you're not going to like it. It's going to be a lot of work." Da da da. So when the time came, I was looking for something full time. I asked him again. I was like, "Listen, I think sales is kind of where I want to go. Is there anywhere you could refer me to, etc." Next week, I was sitting in front of Ed Zella at Burlington Toyota, and I guess the rest is history from there. It's been a year now.
That's awesome. And how are you enjoying the Toyota life?
So honestly, I like it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Burlington Toyota in particular, it's a good family environment. So I've had a lot of fun with the guys there. They kind of took me under their wing. But it's been a good adjustment for me. It hasn't been too bad, I think. I think I'm doing all right so far.
And guys, for yourself, I'd like to start off today's kind of conversation with just kind of what your current norm is. What does a normal day look like, Frank? Because for everybody, everything's different. Our industry just kind of
let him go first.
Just kind of flipped around. All right, Quincy, let's start with you, man. What's a normal day look like for you?
So typically, I know, I'm a younger guy, so maybe you guys would think I'd be sleeping in, but I get up at 9 o'clock every morning, probably, just naturally. I'll get up, make a coffee, have some breakfast, do some push-ups, and then I'll just hop on Call of Duty for a few hours.
That's all right. I bet you a lot of car sales guys out there playing Call of Duty right now,
hey,
or
man,
Fortnite.
That's what we got to do. No.
Well, by 9 o'clock, I've already done all of that stuff, not Call of Duty.
Oh, you're a Fortnite player, right? That's what I heard.
I've already worked a couple hours, and I come into my office to do a lot of writing and concentrating and run my little show from here. Nobody's here to bug me, so there's no social distancing issues because it's just me and the walls. But this is where I get the time to really buckle down and get a lot done and get caught up from all the things that I couldn't have done before, learn more, produce more, Just it's just been busy, and I've been able to do a lot, and I've met a lot of people online, a lot of webinars, a lot of contribution to shows like like this one, Jason, and really also I think it's been a fundamental opportunity to learn about how other people think and how other people manage crisis, and who your real friends are sometimes, because who reached out to you and who didn't, and who never got back to you, and also a lot about employer and employee relationship. I think that's a big deal for a lot of people right now, is have a lot of these dealerships or employers in general checked in to see how their employees have been doing.
I think, guys, right now with everyone just being at home, right, they're looking at this time as either being an expense, where it's costing them a lot of money and they're just kind of sitting around doing nothing, or they're looking at this as an opportunity to invest in themselves and make them that much of a better salesperson. I'd like to hear both you guys' thoughts on that. Quincy, I'll start with you.
Sure. So, I mean, I kind of, the first few weeks were nice. Feels like a vacation almost, but, no one wants to be on EI forever, kind of chomping at the bit to get back to work. And with it coming next Monday, we're going back in. I'm excited to see what may have changed as far as like how we're going to continue to do business. I know that right now, like we're doing a lot, just the industry in general is kind of based online now. So I feel like it's gonna depend even more on people doing their research themselves to like find what they need. But it's gonna also fall a lot more on the shoulders of the salespeople to actually like continue to follow up and be genuine and try to actually get them into the dealership, because they're not coming into the dealership as it is right now. It's about 1.6 dealership visits, etc. I feel like that's going to drop to like probably one visit. Maybe.
No, that's probably really true. I mean, I think when we come out of this, a lot of customers are going to think like, do I really want to visit multiple locations? And how much of that process can I do online before I actually have to go into the dealership and actually deal with somebody? Everold, for yourself right now as a salesperson, like I said, I think salespeople are kind of split down the middle here. They're looking at this as a time just kind of sit around and wait. Or I find that there are salespeople that are actively investing in themselves, through reading books and creating content, or even just making new networks and connecting with people, or, trying to stay connected to their existing customer database. As a salesperson, what would you say, someone should be doing right now, even though if they're home and laid off?
I think definitely, finding some way to invest in yourself or improve your skills. And whether that's, there's so many courses that are free now online, webinars. Even Harvard is offering free courses, right? So you can do them online. So many videos, reading, but whatever you feel is important to improve your skills, and things that you've always wanted to do but haven't had that time to do. And every time you try to do, you'd be coming home from work tired, and the phone would keep ringing. This was the time, and this has been the time. So I've seen a lot of variances. I've seen a lot of sales reps that I know online, daily, steadily posting and doing stuff. I know guys who are studying, who are in transition, and I also know people who haven't really done much. So it's all over the place. But I think what what you should be doing is finding a way to reflect. And as also, Jason, I've developed some courses as well that we're also launching online. So there's so much online stuff. There's a huge opportunity to learn and to pivot.
And now, what do you guys think? I know I'm talking to a lot of sales guys right now, and there are a lot of salespeople out there right now concerned if they even going to have a position to go back to. I want to hear about do either one of you guys have that concern, or maybe anybody you do have that concern? And, what advice can you give to people like that? Quincy, I'll start with you. Do you have any concerns that there won't be a position for you when you go back?
No, I don't think that I'm going to be, I don't think they're going to get rid of me just yet. As long as I can get back and, continue to be successful and give them a reason to keep me around, I don't think it'll be a problem.
That's actually, that's actually a great way to look at it. I think for a lot of people, it's like when you're confident about the value that you bring to the position that you're in, it's like it's an easy answer, just like you did. It's like, nope, not worried about it. I'm confident. I've done
I think
my
that's
job.
the first sign, right? You got to be confident, or else you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. You're going to give them reason to if you're not confident, right?
That is very true. Everold, for yourself, any concerns?
Actually,
or
I've
talking
been
to
busy.
anybody? Yeah,
I've been very busy with a lot of the electronic leads coming through, even while we were closed. It's actually been nonstop. So I sold a few cars while we were closed. Now we just have to arrange delivery. So I've got like 5 sold. Haven't met any of these people. Well, some I know, but but a couple of them I've never met. They say they have money and they want to buy cars. I said, sure. So
that's good.
What's the problem? So no, so I've been busy doing that. I think it's vital that when we got these inquiries, these e-leads during the slow time, that you actually engaged and responded to those people, because now that we're going to slowly start to reopen, this is an opportunity to start with a little bit of a funnel before, rather than from scratch. So, you're going in and starting the week off, or starting, with a few deals in the bank. I think that's a good feeling, and then you just build on that.
No, I think that's a great point. I think a lot of salespeople should be kind of thinking about what it looks like for them to come back in the first few weeks. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you guys, but I spend a tremendous amount of my time as a salesperson prospecting.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it. I really do. I hate to say it. But as an industry, the majority of salespeople I deal with on a daily basis now could not prospect if their life freaking depended on it. Yeah. Like, it just, the whole concept is so foreign to them. I'm like, I used to tell them, I used to take business cards and walk through mall shopping parking lots, and just literally stick business cards into windows of cars I wanted to take on trade, because I knew I could find someone to buy it. It's like, that's just like, what do you mean? You spend 3 hours on a Saturday walking through a shopping mall parking lot? I'm like, yeah, that's what I did. But that's, I don't know. It's just that whole art of prospecting has kind of been lost. Everold, what do you say to, kind of new people that are getting into the business, and they need to understand that prospecting is a big part of what they have to do on a regular basis?
Well, absolutely. And it's so much easier to prospect today compared to when we were doing it, right? So there's really no excuse. In most dealerships, if they're set up half right these days, the prospects are literally flooded in through electronic means. So there's Auto Trader, there's all sorts of chat leads, they're coming from service referrals, there's lease renewals, there's lease there's so many different avenues now for prospecting. And the one thing I teach a lot is networking. Networking is vital. Whether it be a sports group, a Y group, or a Chamber of Commerce group, all those things are vital. And there's so many different networking, avenues now, or organizations. You need to get into one or two of those and find out where the people are, and look in the parking lot. They all pulled up in cars and somebody sold it to them. So you just need to be that guy the next time.
Hey, for yourself, Quincy, what does prospecting look like for you?
Networking again is huge. Word of mouth is a really good way to get referrals. So if people are aware that I'm here, try to give a good impression here, translate to maybe some more leads for me. So,
well, he's been doing some Instagram stuff, which I thought was good.
Yeah,
posting his deliveries on Instagram, and then his friends would share and comment,
boost
and
it a little bit.
Are those social efforts working out for you? I think there's a lot of salespeople out there that haven't cracked that code yet when it comes to social media and being able to prospect and create a network out there. I find personally the reason for that is they focus way too much on the media portion and not enough on the social portion of social media.
Mark, we know several people, Jason, who have developed their own personal brand online. So it's key, right? That if you have a phone, you can create your own Facebook page or own Instagram page or whatnot, and just start posting stuff and start offering some advice or some demos or some pictures or sharing the used cars that came in that you think are nice. And that's prospecting right there, because if you put it out for everybody to see, people will eventually start expecting it from you.
Well, I think it's all about engagement, right? I mean, someone the other day told me that Twitter's dead, and I just kind of laughed a little bit. And I'm like, I just talked to a salesperson who not only just a few weeks ago, even during all of this, all right, responded to a tweet that someone put out in their local area that it was just simply asking, does anybody know if there's any Ford dealerships open? And he tweeted back, goes, yeah, our Ford dealership's open. Do you need some help with service? And they turned it into a conversation, and that conversation turned into the fact that this guy may have actually needed to trade in the vehicle, not necessarily dump an additional $2,000 into transmission work that this truck was going to need, but it's like, if I'm going through a mall parking lot, in 3 hours at best, I might be able to touch 100 cars. 3 hours on social media, I could touch 1,000 people and have legitimate conversations with them about that. Twitter's a great example. Facebook and Instagram, look, right now there's a club and a group for everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally every car out there's got a group or a club, going into it. Actually going in there and actually being a part of that conversation is going to be key. I'll get off the social media bandwagon because I know I can get on my soapbox a little bit.
Yes, it's your favorite.
Yelling. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Quincy, there you go. We've got you back.
I'm back. Yeah.
But hey, guys, actually, you know what? Before we get into kind of the girth, the main portion of today's conversation, I want to ask the question that everybody is thinking in the back of their heads right now: is what is it like to live in a house with two very competitive automotive salespeople? Quincy, I'm going to ask you the question first. All right.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, we're on kind of different ends of the spectrum, right? Like, my dad's kind of established already. He's trying to establish something on his own as well. I'm kind of the new guy. Taking the few weeks off as it is. I mean, I'm still trying to do my best, like with my e-leads and everything and following up on all the clients I have, but man, I just stay out of his way and I just let him do his thing, really.
So you're telling me that there's no competitive streak in there? No.
I mean, maybe if we worked at the same delership, we'd be at each other's necks.
Yeah, well, we all know that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Everold, for yourself, what's it like having a son following kind of your footsteps and getting into the automotive industry?
Well, I think it speaks to whether it's what I've done in the industry, what he's seen me do, or maybe he just wants to fool around cars. I don't know, but he's in a place where I think he has the best opportunity to become the best in the business. He's with the right team, and I've told him several times in the entire country, of all the dealers I know, especially in Ontario, there are 2 dealerships I would have referred him to, and that's the best one he's at right now. There's 1A and 1B, so he's not going to get any better opportunity to learn and to develop as a professional, because he's got the right support and guidance. And but I think it's a good thing. And from a competitive nature and whatnot, I think he's got the best of both worlds, because he's got good role models and he's also got me to bounce questions off, and he'll share whether when he sold 2 or 3 cars in a day, or he'll share a lot of the stories as they happen.
So, now, how excited are you guys about getting back to work?
I'm pretty excited.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty bored. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie. I am too. I'm kind of excited to actually put shoes back on, and even though it was fun for the first week, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was actually kind of fun. Like, going totally like not wearing shoes for a week straight was awesome. But now I'm kind of getting to the point where it's like I want to get back. Like, I want to hit the road. I want to talk to people. I want to, I keep thinking to myself, I wanted to say, like, I want to shake hands, but that's the truth of the matter. That's probably not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
We're going to get back, and we're not going to get, like, there anybody out there that thinks that we're just going to go back to business as normal? Like, that's not the case.
No. I mean, I stopped into our dealership briefly today, and there's all sorts of policies and, being and procedures or whatnot being put in place, because we just have to be careful, because the last thing we need is to have a relapse.
Oh no, 100%. I mean, I think that, look, we went through the recession, Everold. We remember that, right? It was an economics recession. When people are buying cars, their question was, what happens if I lose my job? That's the kind of questions they were asking. Now they're asking, like, is it safe for me to come into your dealership? Like, that's like, I would have never expected. I'm running campaigns right now. Like, people are like, dealerships are spending ad dollars just to make sure that people know that they're open. Like, I never thought in my wildest dream I'd be running ads just to let people know that we're open. But this is just kind of the different time frames. And to your point also, Everold, we're running ads to explain the process. It's like people are more concerned right now about the process than they are necessarily about the offers or incentives. And, I think important. There's some dealerships are doing a good job of it. And there are a lot of dealerships that have kind of done a piss poor job of really, truly explaining. Like, you go to their website and their website looks the same as it did before this all happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're just like,
or they were weeks late.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They were just weeks late to the show. But I think as salespeople, we're going to come back and the consumers change. The consumer is going to fundamentally change. I mean, the way that we have trained and received training, over the years on the sales side has been so much about being in front of someone, being able to read their body language and understanding that 80% of what they say doesn't come out in physical words, but comes out what they're saying, through their body of either leaning back, leaning in, or crossing their arms, or no eye contact, all of these things. And that's not going to happen. So it's like the consumers change. They're not going to necessarily want to be in the dealership as much. And from training perspective, we're going to have to learn how to do that. I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions as far as what you think when we get back to what the first couple months is going to look like, or what that new norm is going to look like. Everold, I'll start with you, and then Quincy, I'll ask you the same question. Everold, what do you think the new norm is going to look like, man?
Well, you're asking a question that I literally posted an article on Sunday.
Well, then it's good timing.
Yeah. If I remember what I wrote, but it's about dealerships needing to pivot, and fundamentally, if they don't, the ones that do, or the ones that adapt quicker, are going to take the cake. So I stressed on, organizations, dealerships really investing in their people, not just to say, okay, well, here's new procedures to protect us from, each other from a health perspective, but show some real empathy. Like, how did you manage? How were things? How is the family? And it can't be just business as usual. It really can't, because, dealerships and some dealer principals are really set in their ways, and there's nothing on earth that changes their philosophy. So philosophies have to change on how we move forward, because if it's a business as usual approach, other dealers that adapt will get most of the deals. And consumers also want to feel that they want to feel special. They want to feel that they're being treated, with the concern of what they've experienced, what we've all experienced, and how we're going to make their lives better, and what we're doing to improve their circumstances and to deliver really a better, experience.
I think you're 100% right there, Everold. I mean, it's the consumer is the one that's going to have to be in the driver's seat moving forward. I mean, look, as an industry, we've trained for years about the importance of getting the customer in the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, Quincy, you just went through training as a new salesperson. I mean, wasn't a lot of the conversation about how, like, word tracks and things you should say and to build the value so that they come into your dealership, because that's where the actual sell and the transaction and the relationship happens. And I think that's going to be a fundamental shift. Like, I think we're going to have to do majority of the transaction and majority of that relationship development now how the customer wants, not necessarily how we want. We want the customer inside the dealership. And now don't get me wrong, there's probably still customers out there that are going to want to come into the dealership and create that relationship and do that transaction. But I think for a lot of people out there, that's not going to be the case. Quincy, what's your kind of thoughts and opinions as far as what that new norm is going to look like once the government says we can pop our heads out of our gopher holes and start exploring a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, like I think again, like just because people have so much access to information online now, like it's going to be even harder for us to get people in, like you said. But it's going to put a little stress on the salespeople to actually try to like go that extra mile to earn their business, right? Like, I mean, maybe you'll get a lead, and you know that person's really interested in getting a vehicle, but the person at the other dealership brought the car to them to see it because you know they're at home and they're quarantined. Like, I mean, there's stuff like that that I think salespeople are going to have to go a little farther to help out a little more to earn business, but to build relationships as well to try to maybe get some more business.
I think you're 100% right. I think we're just going to have to dig a little deeper than what we have in the past. Everold, for salespeople out there that are listening and watching, and they kind of need to maybe mentally prepare themselves for this fundamentally different way to connect with someone instead of being face to face. What kind of maybe best practices or tips and advice you can give them for connecting with someone virtually before they come into the dealership?
Well, definitely don't ignore the leads, first of all, and respond to them in a very timely manner, and take them to a certain point on the electronic chat, but then pivot over to a call or to an email, because you can only do so much and spend so much time going back and forth in a text. And once you get to a certain point, definitely get a phone number or an email that you can send more details, and then proceed to connect with an appointment, because it's, inevitably this business is going to be progressively by appointments, especially for the foreseeable future. You can't be crowding up the showroom, so it's going to be appointment based a lot. So salespeople are going to have to learn how to turn those e-leads into appointments, and whether that's an appointment you take in the vehicle to the workplace on the lunchtime, or to home in the evening when the family's there, or the client coming your way. So I guess one of the summaries that I put in my write up was to be a part of the solution, be a part of the solution, and create and adapt to the change now to become better in the marketplace as we transition through the rest of this year.
No, I that's a great point. I mean, it's like, how can we kind of, better those efforts? I mean, look, Everett, me and you know this. Now, Quincy, I'd like to get your thoughts on this too. But internet leads for the most part has been treated as like third class citizens in our industry, right? We're like, oh God, fuck, here comes another internet lead. This is going to take me 3 weeks, and they're going to want me to answer 15 freaking questions before they want to come into the dealership. No, but seriously though, I mean, that's not everybody. I mean, there are some great salespeople. And I mean, Everold, I know that you're one of them as well. That's like you treat an internet lead equally as you would treat a phone call or a walk-in. But as an industry, a lot of us have it. Quincy, I want to kind of find your kind of thoughts and opinions, as far as like handling, internet leads versus phone calls, and, or walk-ins, and, which one do you prefer?
I mean, the e-leads are great. Like it's a different source for people to inquire, and it's easy for them. But at the same time, like they're not just inquiring to one dealership, right? Like, they're trying to look and see what they can get elsewhere as well. So like I try to treat all the leads equally, especially the e-lead ones, because like those are people that are sitting at home looking at their phone thinking, okay, like I'm interested in this. They're going to put the lead through. If you just let it sit there, they're just going to put it through somewhere else. The other dealership's going to answer it. They're going to end up going there instead. And it's like a matter of like maybe like 5 to 10 minutes that you missed the deal from, right? Like,
it's also important what you put in those inquiries. So if you're just straight up answering the question, okay, the e-lead says, well, give me your best price on this, or can I get a quote on this? And all you do is respond and build a quote and respond. You're going to be kind of dead in the water. As a professional sales rep, you have to be the one guiding that conversation. They may make that inquiry and start off the conversation that way, but it doesn't mean that's the way it has to be. It has to continue. So you can ask some questions. What package have you been here before? Why have you chosen this package? Are you familiar with the loyalty incentives? Are you familiar with leasing? If they're asked about financing, so you can start pivoting the questions and getting the engagement and building a relationship with the client. letting them know that you're the authority in this place. You're not just there to give out quotes. You know, you're an expert in the field, and you're going to ask some logical questions to start building the relationship. And when you engage at a different level than, even if they ask 5 other dealers, but you're engaging from a different perspective with asking valuable questions and engaging questions, they will start to realize that this guy's a bit different from these others.
Well, it's all about building that relationship online now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what we're having to do. Like, it's like, look, in the past, we've been able to build enough value in answering those questions and engaging back and forth to get them to the point where they want to come into the store. Now it's like, now we need to build that value so they feel comfortable engaging with us online before they come into the store. And kind of what's that communication efforts look like going forward? I mean, I know for a lot of dealership, video is going to be which I have to take a moment and say how much I love, because I think you guys both know I kind of have a thing for this.
You're in my face every time I open Instagram.
Like, I like this little thing called video. Like, it's just so novel. It's just great, right? But like, I mean, as an industry, I think we're gonna have to communicate this way, because that's how we can build attention. I've talked to a lot of salespeople, and the ones that are like using these devices right now and communicating online, like they're finding that they're able to create a relationship and make a connection faster, because the level of hyper attention the consumer has. It's like you're live chatting with them. It's like it's instantaneously.
You're totally separating yourself as a salesperson. Just, you're saying to your potential clients, I'm not just versed in the sale or of my product, but I'm versed in developing my own brand, in offering content, in offering ideas, in shooting videos. And you're saying to them, as one of the other points I put in my write-up, is that you are ready to shift and to do business on the level that they want to do business. Because, for example, I've had one client who's bought several cars from me. She works in a restaurant, so her mode of communication is definitely not the phone, and it's definitely not a long email. It's simply the text. So I've been able to sell her 3 cars literally just via text: driver's license, credit card information, insurance, everything via the phone. No emails, no phone calls, because she's busy. She's a busy server in this restaurant. She runs this restaurant, so she's always all over the place. Restaurateurs don't have time to take phone calls and sit down and type emails, right? Well, maybe in the not too distant for a while they might, because of the limited amount of people in restaurants. But the point is, you have to identify the level of which the client likes to communicate, and if that's email, if that's text, okay, you take it to as far as you can go that it makes sense, and then you say, okay, let's call, let's book an appointment, get them on the phone or get them in person. But you got to give them some of what they want first.
Quincy, I'm actually curious, have you created any connections or relationships over social media?
As far as like
prospects,
the business prospects, yeah. I mean, like, I've had a couple deals just from like posts that I put out, and then it's like, really like this car, but my friend's actually really interested in this and like needs this, or is looking for their first car, and like it kind of just like, I don't know, popcorns from there. But it's good to be out there so people can see it in the first place, or like I'll reach out to them. Someone puts a story looking for vehicle. Anyone know of any good car dealerships in the area? It's always good to reach out to them as well. But it's helped me for sure.
And those social efforts, like, have you found that like connecting with them socially is a bit faster than having to go through a phone call or having to go through an email line of communication?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like a different type of communication as well, right? It doesn't have to be as formal on like an Instagram DM as it is in like a well-written email. I mean, but if that's the level that they chose to reach out to me, like, you can just meet them there, and it works a little better and makes it more comfortable for them as well, that they don't have to be so like, I don't know, like uptight the whole time during the conversation, right?
Well, actually, I think that's a really good point. I don't know why in our industry that we feel like our emails are a formal line of communication. Like, when did that happen? I remember, most of my emails, even today, well, even when I first started writing emails, were 1 or 2 sentences, and they're still like that today, but it seems like in our emails, we have to be this person, but then if someone DMs me on LinkedIn, I have to be that person, or if someone DMs me on Instagram, I have to be this person. And I'm not 100% sure that we have to do that. I think that we can have a casual type conversation like Quincy, you did on that Instagram DM. I think we can do the same thing in our emails. I think people at the end of the day just want to connect with people. And if we're just being ourselves in those communications, that's what they're going to connect to. I can't tell you how much I hate templates and autoresponders. If I could, I'd just burn them all down. Like, it's just like, as a consumer, think of this. Who wants to actually be sent an autoresponder? Have you guys ever received an autoresponder that you enjoyed? You're like, oh, snap. Oh, damn, that was a good autorespond.
No, never.
Can we just I think right now it's like, and the reason guys we're bringing this up is because it's like we're going into, I think, what's called this over communication age. Like, we're gonna have to over communicate the crap out of everything, but we're gonna have to do it in a way that's very person to person, human to human type level. Like, we're having to make these connections virtually before we were able to make them actually in person. And I think the key element to doing that is just talking and just being ourselves, no matter what form of communication we're using. I'd like to kind of get both your kind of thoughts on that, do you guys feel like we should have different styles of communication with each of these sources, or do you guys feel like you should just kind of be yourself on all of them? Everold, I'll start with you, and then Quincy, I'll ask you the same.
No, definitely you have to adjust your communication style with the different platforms. When you look at email, it's because it was the first thing that we had. When it first started, it would take 3 hours for one email to get sent with dial-up. Then, and for decades, for a couple of decades, it was really the only electronic messaging delivery. And then all of a sudden we had everything else come up in the last 10 years, maybe 15, but really the last 10 years, is everything just blossomed. So we have so many options now. And some of us are on the main ones, but some people are not on any, or just 1 or 2. So if you're a salesperson in a dealership and you don't have an Instagram account, or you don't have a Facebook account or a LinkedIn account, and what other one, Quincy, is popular now? Twitter.
TikTok, but I don't really think that would be maybe.
Sorry,
but let's say the first three.
Say that name one more time. I didn't hear it. What was it?
TikTok, but that's for
TikTok.
A younger generation. But it's another platform.
I know a lot of sales guys right now on there that are doing TikToks. I got to be honest with you. A TikTok of a car, like, I think music and the car industry go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah.
Definitely. How many music videos have you seen with cars in them? It happens all the time.
The best
right?
ones.
Yeah. Right? You're going to watch a country music video. Guess what? You're going to see a pickup truck in there. Just going to let you know. Right? If you're going to watch a hip hop video, there's going to be, there's going to be, a luxury car of some kind in there. Kind. Like, it's just, I think the car industry and actually TikTok actually do have something. I just don't think anybody's necessarily cracked the code yet. But I do think that there is opportunity out there for sure in our industry and with TikTok. Anyways, I get off that soapbox. I could do a whole podcast just on that.
Just on TikTok.
I know, right, guys? Anyways, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time today. But before we go, I get to ask you guys both my favorite question. And I gave you a little heads up before we started recording here. So it better be a good answer. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to put you in the spot now, right? Like really bring the heat. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, guys, my favorite question of the day. What is pissing you off? So, Everold, I'll start with you. What is pissing
as it
Everold
relates
off?
to the automotive space that we're in, what absolutely drives me crazy are managers and owners that haven't yet figured out that it's the 21st century and have made no attempt to adjust their thinking and how we do business. They still want to see trades. They still don't understand that, you have to give numbers over via e-leads and over the phone and via internet. And clients are only going to come in to see you and to have their vehicle appraised when it's necessary. And you're going to have one or two opportunities at best, and that's it. So that annoys me. And what also annoys me about the automotive space, which I hope and pray this little lull that we've had really talks some sense into some dealers and managers, is you have to treat people, you have to treat your team better. They're not numbers, and you have to invest more in training and invest more in people. And I only have to make one reference. Richard Branson has over 350 companies with managers that manage each, thousands of employees. And the reason why he's highly successful is because he treats his people well. He gives them the autonomy to make mistakes. Mistakes do happen, but as long as you learn from them and without micromanaging, but you treating people with respect. Because we're in the automotive space, salespeople are required to do so much. There's so much load that they carry sometimes, but they don't get the respect, and they're expected to produce so much. So I hope that changes.
I agree with you, and actually I think it will. I think there's a lot of changes that will actually be coming, and I actually think that moving forward, as a salesperson, I think what we're going to see is, I think the cream's going to rise. Do you know what I mean by that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I think there's a lot of dealerships that have been operating with what they call warm bodies, and from a customer's perspective, it's not enough to have a warm body at your business.
No.
And I think everyone out there, is going to have to step up and be a sales professional. And I think from a manager's perspective, we're going to have to put a tremendous amount more weight on our team's ability to connect with people than we've ever have in the past, which is just going to require just a fundamental mind shift. It's not enough just to have warm bodies. Like, we got to have professionals. Quincy, all right, you're up, man. What is pissing Quincy Reid off?
Well, if I'm being honest, before, everything got shut down, I was like 2 months into the gym, put another 15 pounds of muscle on. I was excited. It's been a while since I was in that shape again. And then boom, gyms are closed, lost all the muscle mass. It's going to take me a while to get it all back. But also the barbers are closed. So now I got to go back to work on Monday.
That's true, man.
And I haven't had a haircut in 2 months. So, I mean, I don't know.
You're not going to give yourself a haircut?
I don't trust myself.
Well, he cut my hair last weekend. Or
that's easy though. That's just one level, Like,
that's how mine was. One level. I actually took a chunk of my hair out in the back. Like, I'm serious. I got a 2-inch patch in the back that's just straight skin. So
I can't do that.
Like at least Everold, your son, was willing to give you a haircut. Like, I tried to do it myself. I messed it all up.
Well, I had to be on another show, and I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. It's mostly white when it grows. I'm like, so yeah. I
think the other thing, guys, is like, since the two of you guys being father son, I mean, there's definitely some silver linings that's going on right now. And I don't know about you guys, but I know for myself, I mean, I've had a lot more time to kind of connect with my kids and kind of connect with my family. So I will say that has been a really cool thing, and I've been very, very blessed in being able to do that.
Oh, Quincy's been busy playing. What's that game called?
Call of Duty.
Fortnite.
Okay.
No, Call of Duty. My bad. Sorry. My bad.
Come on, no.
I'm not going to keep messing with him. I know. I'm just picking on you, dude. I'm just picking on you. Hey, guys, for everyone out there watching, listening right now, would love to connect with you, fine gentlemen, and kind of follow along with your journey. What is the best way to do so? Everold, I'll start with you.
Well, definitely LinkedIn first. There's my Everold Reid page, and then there's the Reid Method page. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well. reidmethod.com.
Awesome. Hey, for yourself, Quincy, what is the best way to connect with you, sir?
I'm at QR Sales on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. It's just Quincy Reid.
Cool. Hey, guys, thanks again for taking the time to jam with me today. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, cool. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you later.
Okay,
Thanks,
cool.
you too.
Take care.
Take care.